eerie solitude of the Louisiana night, I found myself embroiled in a chilling encounter that would forever haunt the recesses of my mind. Over a decade spent traversing the labyrinthine highways of America, I had grown accustomed to the myriad mysteries that lurked beyond the glow of my headlights. But nothing could have prepared me for the horrors that awaited me at a seemingly innocuous Shell gas station on the outskirts of Baton Rouge. As the witching hour descended upon the desolate landscape, I wrestled with the twin demons of exhaustion and necessity. The relentless march of time had brought me to the brink of desperation, my bladder aching for release as I scanned the horizon for a beacon of respite. And then, like a mirage materializing from the depths of the night, a weathered sign loomed on the roadside, promising refuge in the form of a long-abandoned gas station. With trepidation gnawing at my resolve, I steered my rig into the crumbling parking lot, the air thick with the palpable weight of decay. The station stood as a grim monument to neglect, its once bustling facade now a crumbling shell of its former self. But with necessity as my guide, I ventured forth into the heart of darkness. Entering the decrepit restroom, I was assailed by a wave of fetid odor that threatened to overwhelm my senses. Gagging against the stench, I beheld a sight that would be seared into my memory for eternity, a ghastly tableau of death and decay, with a lone figure sprawled upon the cold linoleum floor. Retreating in horror, I fled back to the sanctuary of my truck, trembling with a mixture of revulsion and dread. As the flashing lights of emergency responders pierced the veil of night, I recounted my harrowing ordeal to disbelieving ears, each word a testament to the horrors that lurked beneath the veneer of civilization. In the aftermath of that fateful night, I found myself haunted by the specter of mortality, the memory of that grisly discovery forever etched into the fabric of my being. And though the road may stretch on endlessly before me, I carry with me the knowledge that some nightmares are all too real. In the aftermath of that fateful night, the specter of the abandoned gas station loomed large in my mind, a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of the mundane. Though the authorities had come and trapped in the confines of my truck, a prisoner to unseen forces, I grappled with the horrifying realization that my fate hung in the balance. With every labored breath, I feared the worst. A fate far worse than death awaited me in the depths of the night. Yet, as dawn broke over the horizon, casting its golden light upon the world below, I emerged from the shadows of despair, battered but unbroken. The road ahead may be fraught with peril, but with each passing mile, I carry with me the indomitable spirit that has guided me through the darkest of nights. As the darkness of night began to dissipate, replaced by the soft glow of dawn on the horizon, I emerged from the depths of my ordeal, battered but unbowed. As a seasoned truck driver, I've come to learn that respect among fellow drivers is not just a courtesy, but a necessity. We navigate the highways with the knowledge of our massive rig's mechanics, understanding the intricate dance required to maneuver them safely through the night. However, amidst the camaraderie, there lurks a darkness, a realm where respect falters and danger rears its ugly head. It was a moonless night, the kind that cloaks the road in an eerie shroud. I had embarked on a journey from the bustling streets of New Jersey, bound for the humid embrace of Florida. The sun had long since retired, leaving the road deserted, save for the occasional pair of headlights slicing through the darkness like phantom blades. Having slept away the daylight hours in anticipation of a nocturnal voyage, I found myself trailing behind another truck. Its Florida plates glinted in the dim glow of my headlights, a beacon of familiarity in the lonely expanse of asphalt. Instinctively, I fell into step behind it, a silent companion on this nocturnal odyssey. Yet, camaraderie soon turned to consternation as the truck ahead began to exhibit erratic behavior. Flashers flickered like desperate fireflies, their erratic dance a harbinger of chaos. With a sinking feeling, I realized the driver's intentions were far from benign. In a moment of ill-conceived solidarity, I attempted to overtake the troublesome truck. Yet, as my cab drew level with his, a sense of dread settled over me like a suffocating shroud. His speeding rig mirrored my own, a grotesque parody of synchronized motion. I peered across, seeking answers in the darkness, only to be met with the sight of a frenzied figure gesticulating wildly. His screams were lost to the wind, yet his intent was unmistakable, a symphony of madness conducted in the dead of night. Fear coiled in my gut as the situation spiraled out of control. With a sickening lurch, the truck veered into my lane, forcing me onto the narrow shoulder. Panic gripped me as I fought to regain control, the shrill cry of protesting metal drowned out by the cacophony of blaring horns. Desperation lent wings to my actions as I fought to evade the encroaching behemoth. Yet, fate had already cast its die, and I found myself careening toward the unforgiving embrace of a guardrail. The impact was a symphony of destruction, the shriek of rending metal, a macabre requiem for lost innocence. As my world spun in disarray, a moment of clarity pierced the chaos. With trembling hands, I fumbled for my salvation, a lifeline in the form of a cell phone. Each digit pressed was a prayer whispered into the void, a plea for deliverance from the madness that stalked the night. Yet, even amidst the chaos, fate had one final twist in store. A spectral figure materialized at my window, his visage contorted in a grotesque mask of fury. His words were lost to the wind, drowned out by the pounding of my heart. Locked in a silent tableau of terror, I watched as he raged against the confines of metal and glass. His frenzied assault was a grim reminder of the darkness that lurked within the human soul, darkness that hungered for blood amidst the lonely expanse of the highway. Relief washed over me as the flashing lights of authority heralded the arrival of salvation. The specter was banished into the night, his madness quelled by the firm hand of justice. Yet, as I watched the twisted wreckage of my once proud steed being hauled away, I couldn't help but wonder, what other horrors lurked in the shadows, waiting to claim their next victim? As a seasoned truck driver, I've come to appreciate the unspoken camaraderie among us on the road. There's an unwritten code of respect, a mutual understanding of the challenges we face navigating these colossal rigs through the vast expanse of highways and byways. Yet, for all the mutual respect, there are times when the shadows cast by the trucking world reveal something much darker. It was a moonless night, the kind that seemed to swallow the road whole, leaving only the twin beams of headlights to pierce the darkness. I was on a journey from the bustling streets of New Jersey to the warm embrace of Florida's southern coast. Opting to drive through the night to avoid the hustle and bustle of daytime traffic, I found myself alone with the road stretching endlessly before me. Or so I thought. 20 minutes into my nocturnal odyssey, I found myself trailing another truck, its Florida plates glinting in the faint glow of my headlights. Sensing safety in numbers, I maintained a steady pace behind the mysterious driver, a silent companion in the lonely expanse of the highway. Little did I know, the tranquility of the night was about to be shattered. The truck ahead began to exhibit erratic behavior, its flashers dancing like malevolent fireflies in the night. Ignoring the ominous warning signs, I pressed on, determined to maintain my course. But the truck ahead had other plans. With a sudden burst of acceleration, it seemed to challenge me, daring me to overtake. Reluctantly, I obliged, shifting lanes to pass the enigmatic trucker. Yet, as my cab drew level with him, a chill crept down my spine. His face contorted in a grotesque mask of fury, his arm flailing wildly as if possessed by some unseen malevolence. Panic seized me as I realized the perilous dance we were engaged in. In a desperate bid to diffuse the tension, I eased off the throttle, hoping to allow the agitated driver to forge ahead. But my efforts were in vain. The behemoth beside me continued its relentless pursuit, matching my every move with chilling precision. With horror, I watched as the trucker veered menacingly into my lane, forcing me onto the unforgiving shoulder of the road. Adrenaline surged through my veins as I fought to regain control, the screech of protesting tires mingling with the deafening roar of our engines. But fate, it seemed, had already chosen its path. With a sickening crunch, metal met concrete as my truck collided with the unyielding barrier of the guardrail. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as my world spiraled into chaos. Then, with a jolt, reality crashed back in, the harsh glare of headlights illuminating the wreckage of my once proud rig. Dazed and disoriented, I fumbled for my phone, fingers trembling as I dialed for help. But help, it seemed, was already at hand. A cacophony of sirens shattered the night as the cavalry arrived, their flashing lights casting an eerie pall over the scene of destruction. Yet, even as relief washed over me, a new terror reared its head. For there, lurking in the shadows, was the source of my torment. The rogue trucker, his face contorted into a rictus of rage, pounded furiously on my window, his voice a primal scream lost in the howl of the wind. In the dim glow of the dashboard lights, I caught a glimpse of madness, the twisted visage of a man consumed by some dark obsession. Locked in a deadly embrace, we were two predators caught in the headlights, each fueled by our brand of madness. It was only with the arrival of law enforcement that the spell was broken. The rogue driver was dragged away into the night, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. As the adrenaline began to ebb, I surveyed the wreckage of my truck, a grim reminder of the dangers that lurk in the shadows of the open road. Yet, amidst the wreckage, there was a glimmer of solace, a sense of closure in knowing that the true horror was finally off the road. But the scars, both physical and psychological, would linger long after the road had faded into memory, a testament to the darkness that lies beneath the surface of the trucking world. As I watched my beloved rig being towed away into the night, I couldn't help but wonder what other horrors lurked in the darkness, waiting to be unleashed upon the unsuspecting traveler.